here to discuss episode 2, season, what is it? This is season 4. Am I right? Season 4. Season 4, episode 2. I don't even remember. I'm so tired. Season 4, episode 2 of Love and Hip Hop New York. So, let's get into it. So, I don't know about y'all, but I am still bugging off the fact that Amina and Peter are married. So, it continues off from when she dropped that big ass bombshell on us that she's Mrs. Panky. So, Rich is sitting there at a loss for words as the rest of us were. And Peter comes back from getting the drinks or whatever, and Amina's like, yeah, you didn't tell him that we rocking together, that we together. And he's like, yeah, I told him that I'm in love with you. She said, you didn't tell him that we were married? He said, no, like, I didn't really feel the need to go around bragging that me and you are married. So, Rich is sitting there like, oh my God, caught in the middle. And Amina's like, yeah, we married, blah, blah, blah. Basically, she wants everybody to know that they're married. And Peter doesn't want everybody to know because he doesn't want Tara to find out. So, Peter is just basically like, I'll tell her when the time is right. The time is not right now. And I want it to be me that tells her. So, Amina is just sick of being treated like a side bitch. And technically speaking, Amina, before you were wifey, you were the side bitch. I mean, now you're the wife, and that's a whole nother title. But this man was with his baby mother for 13 years. I mean, he cheated on her then, but he never pulled something like this as to marry the girl. So, Amina is like, I mean, like the roles, I don't want to say the roles have reversed, but Amina has the title of wife now. So that's more than you being somebody's baby mother. And I mean, sorry to say, I mean, in the eyes of, like, I guess, the law or whatever, Amina has the upper hand just because they're married. But Tara is the one that actually she's wifey material. She's just not Peter's wife. But she's wifey material. Because she's been holding him down without a ring for 13 years. Had 2 of his kids. So it's like, it's crazy. But moving on. So we get to K.Michelle, Yandy, and her friend Paris. And, they're discussing K.Michelle's dating life. And, K.Michelle with her jokes. I think she made a reference to her broken Hot Pocket. But, yeah, they were talking about that, and they like how while K.Michelle is out, they're going to try and find her a man, hook her up or whatever. So, they're talking about Yandy and a new label and whatnot. So, Yandy is like, since K.Michelle is in New York, she wants to throw her a welcoming party because K.Michelle didn't have a welcoming party or anything since she been to New York. So, Yandy wants to put together a welcoming party and she wants to invite all the girls to come. So, that includes Amina and Tara. But, Yandy doesn't really know what's going on with the situation. So it's all innocent to her. So, now we get to like a newcomer named Nya Lee. And she's a pretty girl. She's rapping for a video. Like, she's shooting a video. She's rapping. She got a nice flow or whatever, but in my opinion, when she came onto the screen, she was just a little bit too cocky and confident for me because she's like, yeah, I'm a good rapper out of New York or whatever, and I'm like, okay, you're a good rapper. Nobody knows who you are, so you ain't that great of a rapper if nobody knows who you are, sweetie. I'm just saying. So, Rich Dollars comes in on her video shoot. And they're talking. Rich is interested in having her as an artist on his label. Nya Lee is not interested in being an artist on his label because she knows how he gets down with his artists because of everything that went down with him and Erica Mena. So Rich is like, well, besides the fact, you already know when I yawn in these vlogs, I'm tired. But Rich is like, well, besides the fact that this is what went on with me and Erica Mena, me and her made dollars together. So, put that aside. Me and you could make money together or whatever. So Nya Lee is like, nah, I just hear about how you get down. You're corny. I don't want nothing to do with you. Blah, blah. Like, dissing the shit out of Rich. And I mean, in a way, a lot of the stuff she was saying was pretty much, it was true. You gotta call a spade a spade. A lot of what she was saying was true because Rich is kind of sort of corny, but Rich does know how to make money. Like, he's a hustler. I mean, I don't know what he's doing with Olivia, but I would think that he would get more recognition for putting Olivia on the map than he would Erica Mena. That's what's not sitting right with me. And he been with Olivia for years. You see what I'm saying? So moving on, we get to Tara and Peter, and they're talking, and he's apologizing and whatnot. And they're forgiving. They're just talking about forgiveness and whatnot. And Peter is basically trying to make Tara swear that she won't leave him. That she won't leave him like at all. And Tara's like, I can't do that because remember we had this conversation before, and your infidelity was questionable, and I still took you back. So I can't promise that I won't leave you. It depends on what it is in a situation that I would leave you. So, he still didn't tell her that him and Amina is married. And, Tara just basically like, well, I'm not going to promise you that I'm not going to leave you. We just got to see what happens because I know you and I know your game. And, So, now we meet Erica Jean and Saigon. And Saigon is another rapper who claims he's the best rapper out of New York. And I'm like, again, y'all the best rappers out of New York, but don't nobody know who the hell you are. Whatever. So, they've known each other for years, but they didn't really have much of a relationship. And Saigon has two babies a month apart, and he has a son with Erica. So Erica really wants a family with Saigon, but Saigon is just the type that's like he doesn't know what the hell he wants or whatever. So they want to try and make it work for the sake of the kids, but we all know sometimes, when it comes to baby mama drama and whatnot, it doesn't always work out that way. So, but that's what they're discussing. Erica wants to be a family. Saigon doesn't really know what he wants to do. He just knows he has two babies that's a month apart. So then we get to Amina and Peter, and Peter is mad that Amina told Rich. Peter's mad that Amina told Rich that they're married, and Amina's like, well, I have to let somebody know because you keep putting it off. You don't want to tell people what the deal is. I'm your wife, and I don't feel like I'm treated as such. So Peter is like, he felt betrayed. Like, he's like, I got all this going on or whatever, and I thought I could trust you with a secret or whatever. And, Amina just wants to be treated better, which is understandable. But at the same time, if this man is telling you he wants to keep this marriage, this farce of a marriage, a secret, you don't need to be with him, because any man that's married to somebody will be proud to say that they're married to that person, don't you think? Okay, so anyway, now we get to Nya and Erica, and Nya is telling Erica how Rich came onto her video shoot, and how Erica is like, well, what happened? So she's explaining to Erica what happened. And, Erica is like, well, even though me and Rich went through whatever it is we went through, me and him made money together, so I'm kind of thinking about working with him again. And Nya is like, why? Didn't he play you, the song that he said was yours? He gave it to his next artist. Like, didn't he do you dirty? She was like, yeah. But when me and Rich were together, like when we were, when we worked together, we made magic or whatever. So in the midst of them talking about this, Nya and Erica discuss wanting to collaborate on a song together in the future. And I mean, it's looking pretty good, but like I said, Nya is a bit apprehensive because Erica wants to work with Rich again. She doesn't want to work with Rich you know, and Nya, I guess she feels like she's on a higher pedestal because she's made songs with people like Jadakiss and somebody else I can't remember, but I know Jadakiss' name came up. So she feels like, okay, if her and Erica get on the record, that could blow both of them up, you know, get both of their names out there. But um you know, Erica is like, this time around, if she works for Rich, she's gonna be smart about it. And Nya is like, I don't know. See, it might not even work out with us collaborating because of this and, you know, this situation or whatever. So at that point, they weren't really gonna do a record together. It was just like thrown in the air or whatever. So now, we get to Saigon and Peter, and they're playing basketball and they're discussing fatherhood. Saigon is apprehensive about being with Erica, and then Peter puts this bug in his ear that maybe he should get a DNA test because the baby don't look like him. And now Saigon is thinking, yeah, the baby don't look like me. My daughter, I think he has a daughter. My daughter look like me. Everybody say she my twin, but my son don't look nothing like me. Blah blah blah. I'm like, you know what? These dudes. First of all, how you gonna take advice from somebody like Peter Guns, who got like 12 baby mamas and 12 babies? Okay, so he putting this bullshit in your ear that your baby might not be yours. You gonna go and get this girl to get a DNA test on your son, and that just makes the situation mad ass awkward. Like, Peter Guns is a fucking jerk. Like, oh, he gets on my nerves. He makes Stevie J looks like he makes Stevie J look like Prince Akeem. I swear to God. But anyway, they're discussing that, and Saigon is like, yeah, you know, because this happened during the pregnancy when she was having him. She didn't even want me in the room, and there was a while where me and her wasn't talking while she was pregnant. So yeah, it might not be my baby. I'm like, you're an idiot. Like, that's the blind leading the blind. I'm like, oh my God, y'all are fucking retarded. My goodness. We get to my favorite couple, Tahiri and Joe, and they're shopping for jeans or whatever. And while they're shopping for jeans, Tahiri tells Joe that she's been going on auditions for movie roles, and you know, she may have an audition that, like, you know, she may have gotten the role of a movie, and it's gonna take 6 weeks to film it or whatever. She has to go away for 6 weeks to film it. So Joe was like, well, since you're going away to do your movie roles, you know, you'll be abandoning therapy, and therapy is what we agreed to go to. And Tahiri's like, well, I'm not abandoning it. I have a legit reason for why I'm not going. You know, I have to get a career going. And Joe was like, yeah, but we agreed to go to therapy, blah, blah, blah. Basically, he just wants her to go to therapy. Fuck her movie role. But at the same time, she can't live off of you. She has to make a living for herself. So you need to be a more understanding boyfriend, don't you think? So now we get to Yandy and Rich, and they're discussing potential artists for the label or whatever. And you know, Rich tells Yandy that Peter and Amina are messing around. So Yandy, she didn't know nothing about the situation, and she's feeling conflicted because Tara is her friend. So she's like, I don't want to be in the middle of this, knowing, you know, Amina may be bad for business because she's messing around with Peter. I mean, the girl can sing, she has talent, but she's messing around with Peter, and she doesn't want the fact that this is going on to be a representation of their label. I mean, I get it. Yandy is a smart businesswoman, and she's about her checks. So if she noticed there's a bad seed or something like that in the mix, she ain't gonna mess with it, and I get it. But at the same time, it's the last minute that Rich is telling her that Amina and Peter are messing around, and Yandy done invited the girl to K.Michelle birthday party. Drama. But moving on, we get back to Saigon and Erica, and Erica is talking about, like, she's discussing the hardships of the pregnancy or whatever, and she's explaining the reason why, because Saigon starts to question her about paternity, and she's discussing the reason why she didn't want him in the room with her, because they were in a very bad space at that point in time or whatever. So she didn't want, I guess it was already a difficult pregnancy. So she didn't want her delivery to be even worse. So she wanted it to be simple. She wanted it to be peaceful. She didn't want Saigon there to bring negative energy. So now he finally confronts her and tells her that he wants a DNA test. And surprisingly, she went along with it. First of all, Erica is gullible and dumb as shit. Because if you were to come to me talking about you want a paternity test because you're not sure that our son is your son, I would shake my head, I would curse you out, I would flip you the bird. Because how you gonna question who I was with or whatever when we were pregnant, when I was pregnant? If we were together when I got pregnant, we were together. I wasn't sleeping around, I wasn't there. You shouldn't have to take a DNA test to prove that that he's the father. Like, and Erica is just so dumb. She just went along with it. I'm like, I would have caused a scene. That's just me. So now we get to Peter going to the studio with his son Corey Guns. For those of y'all who don't know, Corey Guns is a rapper too. He was on 6 Foot, 7 Foot. I mean, that's the only song I know of him on. I haven't really heard any of his own music, but I liked how he rapped in 6 Foot, 7 Foot. And I met him one time at Shake Shack. But anyway, so Corey has this situation where he could possibly go to jail for a gun charge, and Peter feels guilty because he hasn't really set a good example for Corey, and he's like, well, hopefully he won't get, any time or any bad sentencing or anything like that for the gun charge. And he's like, well, I haven't set a good example, and then our last name is Guns, so that makes it worse or whatever, but I just hope we make it through or whatever. So, while all of this is going on, we get to the ladies for the welcome party for K.Michelle, and Rich is calling Peter to let him know that Amina and Tara are about to be in the same room. Peter panics. So now we get to the party. Tara arrives. They're drinking, they're laughing, and they're talking. And they're talking about finding a man for K.Michelle. And while they in there in the club or whatever, I guess some guys tried to size K.Michelle up. But y'all know how Miss Kimberly Michelle Pate does. Yes, that's her full government. But y'all know how she do. She's so quick with it. She started dissing dudes left and right in the club, and I'm just sitting there laughing because she is hilarious. But while this is going on, Peter is trying to get to the party fast before Amina goes in because Amina and Tara are about to be in the same room. So while that's going on, Tahiri and Erica J arrive, and they arrive to enjoy the party or whatever. Peter finally gets there and he stops Amina from going into the party. And Amina is like, oh, I didn't know you were coming. Let's go inside. He's like, no, we can't go inside because Tara's in there. So Amina immediately got pissed. Like, you still ain't tell her that we married. And he's like, I'm going to tell her tomorrow. So Amina's like, you always say I'm going to tell her tomorrow. I'm going to do this tomorrow. It's always tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow. And you never do it. And I'm sitting there like, okay, if he keep giving you broken promises and shit, then why you keep believing him? Obviously, he gonna keep telling you tomorrow, tomorrow, tomorrow to shut you up about it today. Like, this girl's so gullible. So Amina is like, well, you need to tell Tara as soon as possible because if you don't, I'ma tell her. And he's like, no, I'ma tell her tomorrow. And she's like, all right, you got tomorrow. And if you don't tell her, I'm telling her. And I'm like, this Negro just... Peter Guns is just... Oh, my God. Peter Guns gives me a headache. And he is just a mess. Like, this is a whole big-ass mess. I mean, I don't know if it's scripted. I don't know what it... But this shit does... It does make for entertainment because we talk about it every week. But I'm just like... This dude cannot be serious. How he handling these two ladies. It's a mess. But anyway, that was the end of episode 2. Next week, like it's gonna get better because Amina finally tells Tara that they're married. And just a whole bunch of stuff happens next episode, but that's the main thing that happened. And I can't wait. I'll be here to talk about it. Peace. See you later.